Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. What do we do? 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. My juice little lads. Thank you, little lads. You're delicious and bright to the right today. Okay, my delicious babies. So what's the time, Mr. Wall? So the time is it's 25 to 2 in the afternoon, my delicious little babies. On this 8th of January 2026, my delicious little babies, and the sky is very grey. Now, I have been told whoever it is needs to keep handles on it. Oh, look again. Oh, there's another handle there. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Anyway, baskets and barrels. Well, I've been told today that there's going to be snow tonight. Heavy snow, okay? So we've all got to be frightened, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? The thought of a bit of snow, okay? Now, I was actually told that there was going to be snow the other day, bless her. Well, of course, that never materialised. What happened with the weather modification? Did it go slightly wrong, or was one of their pilots sick, I wonder? Anyway, my delicious little babies, so I happened to say to who it was, bless. I said, what I do, I says, I tend not to look at the weather forecast. I said, what I do is I look out the window, then I go outside, and then I feel myself what the temperature is. There we are, my delicious little babies. That's what I do. I remember when I was little, and I used to look at, like on the television decades ago, and they used to show, these weathermen, weather women, do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies. But we always remember that fish, don't we? That's what's his name, Mr. Fish or something, where he predicted the weather or whatever he was given. And basically, that was a turtle cock-up, wasn't it, my delicious little babies? Do you know what I mean? So, and obviously, he never, ever lived it down. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, but I remember when I was little and I used to look at the weather forecast, and I just used to think to myself, well, why are they doing that? Do you know what I mean? And of course, because I was always playing out and everything, so I never paid that much attention. But to be quite honest with you, I've done it since I was a wee little lass. You know what I mean? You just see what the weather's like. If it's raining, you cannot play out because you're just going to get soaking wet. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe, you're playing indoors with friends or something. You know what I mean? Okay? If it's sunny or overcast, you go outside and play. Do you know what I mean? That's how it was decades ago when I was little, my delicious babies, okay? But it's just amazing, isn't it? I mean, even on my dog and bone, it's very difficult to get rid of my delicious babies. There's certain apps on these dog and bones that are extremely hard to flipping eradicate. But the thing is, I mean, it lets you know what the weather is. Well, I don't want to know what the effing weather is. I'm not shouting at you, my delicious little babies. And anyway, I woke up this morning. Anyway, I did video yesterday and I'm not taking it down. What we need to do is get rid of, so there's no videos today, my delicious little babies. There was one video when I looked at YouTube just, the uploader's called, and with anybody not in that way, say no, that's the uploader, all spaces, say no to HMO. These to do with this housing, well, we're going through it ourselves, my delicious little babies, okay? I mean, when ones are pointed out where ones are, these HMOs, okay? I mean, to be honest with you, especially if it's on my road, you can smell it. I love little rats, it's figure of speech, my delicious babies, but you can smell a little rat, you know what I mean? You think, oh, the turnover's rather fast there, do you know what I mean, my delicious babies, okay? So when it's on your own road, and you see changes, changes, nobody likes it, do they, my delicious babies, do you know what I mean? So anyway, say no to HMO. I've never seen that uploaded before, my delicious babies. From what I could see, and these subtitles are writing, because I never clicked on it. It's only about, I think, 6 minutes or whatever long it is. They're talking about the rubbish, yes, my delicious babies. You found it everywhere. You find it everywhere, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? So, this is what you're up against, isn't it? Anyway, one day it'll turn around, just like fashion. Followers of fashion. Okay, my delicious little babies. But what we really need to get rid of is dirty effing paedophiles. I'm not going to swear today, my delicious little babies, okay? But sometimes, what happened was, yesterday evening, I seen a couple of really horrible videos. Okay, there wasn't very long, my delicious little babies, right? And it flipping vexed me. It got me so mad. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? Okay, and to think now that they're bringing, is there a problem in Afghanistan? No different than usual. So what they're coming over here for? Do you know what I mean? I'm not racist, prejudiced. Anyway, I'm not even going down that road. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not. So I've got to get out of that habit, okay? Because at the end of the day, I shouldn't even have to say it. And we should be able to, there we are, to voice our opinions and voice our views. I'm a woman with a view. I shall have my effing view, right? When you're bringing these over now, they seem to have a little bit of a fancy for little boys, isn't it? There we are. Now, I did a video on this, okay? It's called Dancing Boys. Real women / real lives on YouTube, Martinish Little Babies, okay? And you'll find it on there. It's called Dancing Boys, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest. But of course, with YouTube, that is effing squeezing me now. Okay, not in literal terms, Martinish Little Babies. What I'm talking about is that just to stop any of my videos getting out, okay, my delicious little babies, okay, but they're very selective. There we are, very selective in ones that they will let out. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay, but for others, like you get 2 views, 1 view. You say what it is, they don't like the truth, isn't it? They do not like the truth when somebody speaks it. And somebody's not happy about a certain unsavoury entering our country, our old England. And we're just supposed to effing roll over and say, oh, that's all right, Jack, you just carry on doing what you're doing. No, it's trafficking, it's big business, okay, my baby, just like these flipping boats, okay? And I'm pretty sure that they certainly, and I believed it for years now, that they bring these in just to ruffle the feathers of everybody else, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? But the more and more different nationalities they're bringing in is the more and more that they do not want to socialise with us English. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? And for some nationalities, I'm not going to say all, but for some nationalities, they bring the dirty wares from their country into our effing country, okay? And this includes paedophilia. Now, we've got paedophilia here in our old England, my delicious little babies. We've got paedophilia in America. Okay, how many is it? Please don't quote me. I've just got to try and remember. Is it 350,000 little babies, little bairns who go missing every year? Well, where are they going? Where are the little babies going? Just like our system here with social services and everything, okay? And then they'd go and take, they've been doing it everywhere in all different places, okay, my delicious little babies? You could have little babies come from lovely families, do you know what I mean? It's not always broken families, my delicious little babies, okay? There's been many cases, and they especially did it in flipping Born in the USA, where they send them in perfectly happy little families, some larger families, okay? But everybody's happy. Do you know what I mean? Mummy and daddy, bears, are looking after their babies perfectly well. Then somebody comes in, what is it? Eye colour, skin colour, hair colour. You follow what I'm, there we are. You follow what I'm saying, my delicious little babies. Case is going on here with social services as well. And yes, I am going to say it. I've been long time, there we are, talking about this now then. Dirty effers, man. And when I heard those videos, you see, the thing is, other countries have their own problem. I repeat again, I'm not shouting at you, my delicious babies. I'm very passionate, there we are, about what I talk about. Now, the fact of the matter is this, other countries have their problems and issues, isn't it? Right? That you and I can do very little about, okay? But here's the thing. We must sort out our own problems, see, I'm stumbling, rightfully so. We must sort out our own problems, there we are, in our own damn country. Do you see what I mean, mad little babies? This is my whole argument in it all. Do you see what I mean? Not to mention all the spying. And no, I'm not going to let it damn well go. This has been going on whatever o'clock with myself. I want to know the reason why. Do you know what I mean, mad little babies? Okay, this is what I'm getting peed off about, amongst other things. Okay, please do not get me wrong. Each and every day I find something to laugh about. There we are. I really, really do, you know. Okay, there's always some shat that you're listening to. You think, what a crock of effing shat. You know, and for some of these who do videos, okay, mad delicious little babies, well, once could say to myself, well, I don't like your videos. If you don't like it, F off nicely, get on your back, pedal fast and jog on. There we are. That's the answer. Okay? But some, instead of doing a flipping video, they should have just flipping got back in bed and rolled over and gone to sleep. You know what I mean? Mad little babies, because they clearly are effing, there we are, effing sleep. So there's certain things now that some will talk about, and then there are certain things now that others will not talk about. Do you know what I mean, mad little babies? Well, I will talk about it. And really, what we should do, okay, is any paedophile, any dirty little bean out in, because that's what they are. Why can they not choose adults, a big man or a big woman? Why do they have to tamper with little babies? Dirty effers, man. Dirty effers. And then when some governments, I forgot what it was all about now, but anyway, not so long ago, oh, you know, to bring back the, we don't like this word, but we keep hearing it over these recent years, mad little babies, especially, you know, and all that then, the jibby jab, you know what I mean, mad little babies, okay? My heart goes out to anybody, like I said, but my heart does not go out to the effers who pushed it, okay? But one thing I was highly delighted about, you know, there's MPs and all that now then, do you know what I mean? And, well, they never knew what was coming either, did they, mad little babies, you know what I mean? Because they too got jibby jabbed, you know what I mean? Mind you, you live by it, you pass by it. That's the old-fashioned saying, isn't it, mad little babies? Yeah, so I do not care if somebody calls me a bitch. And when they talked about getting back to that now, then the death penalty, does that apply to all the dirty little effers, putrid little paedophiles then? Does it apply to those? Does it apply to all the nasty little bees now? In all different countries, our country in all different countries. Does it apply to theirs? No, because as usual, it'd only apply to the flipping ones who hardly have done nothing flipping wrong now then. Do you know what I mean, mad little babies? Do you know what I'm saying? Yes? Sorry, excuse me. I will not let things go. Okay? Nobody should have to worry, you know, about the little babies if they're playing outside or something like this, just up the road from them. They've got a dirty effing paedophile. Do you see what I mean, mad little babies? Do you see what I'm saying? Yes? And nobody should have to feel that they've been spied on. There we are, 24 effing 7 now, like myself. So I want to know why. What, because of the videos that I do? Because I'm just done telling the truth and because I do it as a hobby and give out information for ones to look at other videos or to read up on something. So is that the reason why? Nobody should have to feel that way, ever. Do you know what I mean? Nobody should ever have to feel that they cannot walk somewhere or talk to. I could just be out walking and talking to anybody randomly. But nobody should have to feel that they've just been constantly spied on and have somebody open the bloody effing windows. Click, click. You're on candid camera, Kodak. You know what I mean, mad little babies? Nobody should have to feel that way. But that's what's, there we are, been happening to myself. And I'm pretty sure it's been happening to others as well. Of course, I do not know who they are. But it just goes to show, mad little babies, that, you know, if you're saying something out of line or whatever it is, you know what I mean, or they want other information, shall we say, okay, that this is what they do, isn't it? Make me damn sick, man. And anybody with these larger televisions, you know what I mean, they must understand now, very nicely now, very sweet and nicely, I'm saying it, to cover up where the little camera part is, because they're watching everything that they're doing, just like these iPads that the little babies are going on. You know, it's just innocent, you know, they're just, you know, watching little, you know, these little programs, you know, could be anything, innocently, like Peppa Pig, anything. But these iPads now are designed, there we are, to spy on the little babies as well. Yes, my delicious little babies. You see what I mean? Just like our dog and Burns. See, if I'm listening to a video when I'm having one of my just little showers, if I'm listening to a video of my delicious little babies, what I tend to do is I've got like this porcelain, white porcelain, where my toothbrush and toothpaste is my delicious little babies kind. So what I do, because in these dog and Bones, this is Samsung, in these dog and Bones, my delicious babies, they've got little holes everywhere at the sides. Okay, so it's everywhere. So what I do, I point, you know, my dog and bone that way. Do you see what I mean? Then what I do is I put the little porcelain, and where there's another little dot there, and then where the porcelain is, and then put the porcelain, in front of it. So they cannot see myself having a shower or anything, my delicious babies. Not that I'm ashamed of my body, because I am certainly not ashamed of my body. Far from it. I'm very happy with what I've got. It keeps me warm. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about there we are, privacy. Because after all, there's buggies in my bathroom as well, and outside my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? It seems they've covered all areas. There we are. Okay, my delicious little babies. And no, this is not me who's, you know, I don't mean this in a nasty way. It's not me who's mentally impaired. Or, you know, losing my noddle. Oh, she's going loop the loop. No, it isn't. This has been happening to myself, there we are, for a long time, and I'm pretty sure it's been a damn lot longer. There we are, my delicious little babies. And what I want to know is what went on when I was born. Not with, I love her so, my beautiful dear little mama bear, my dear dad, bless him, okay? Not talking about that. There's something, there we are, there's something else. And I cannot put my finger on it. It's a shame that I do not know somebody who maybe knows, you know, a lot more about this sort, there we are, this sort of thing. And maybe be able to get to the bottom, there we are, of what this is all about. There we are. Okay, my delicious babies. But, you know, of course, you know, for most, they think I'm a header. You know, the lift doesn't go up to the top floor, you know what I mean, and all that. I'm not all the cups in the cupboard. Well, I can well assure everybody, my delicious little babies, I am well sane. I am not insane. There are some days, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? It drives you effing flipping crazy, man. And then they put little things out. Like just down the road from myself, there's a sock. One sock. Well, where's the other sock? Yeah, so what we need to do, I tell you what, you know, I would personally never want to run a country, my delicious little babies, but I'm going to be done telling you this now then. If I did run the country, I would get rid of all dirty little paedophiles. They'd be gone. I'm not inciting anything, you know, just for YouTube. Okay, my delicious baby, they'd all be eradicated. They're gone, one way or another. Okay, like I said, I'm not making threats or anything or inciting anything. You know what I mean? Okay, sometimes it's just out loud thoughts. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies. Okay. The other thing that I'd do, now this is another bugbear of mine, is I would anybody, because for myself, my delicious little babies, I was brought up with there we are, excellent manners. Okay, not to drop litter on the floor. not to spit out in public, even though ones were walking past myself, as I said on yesterday's video, Marzlichtuk babies, and like that, not spitting at me, but like that, where, of course, I was seeing plenty of videos on BitChute Marzlichtuk babies where in Israel, that's what they do to the Christians, you know what I mean? They walk past them, but they literally do spit at them. Do you know what I mean? Marzlichtuk babies. Of course, you know, this spitting has clearly gone back decades and decades. You know, some you'll see them in the street, they get the nerves and they do that. That is just disgusting business. I was never brought up that way, Marzlichtuk babies. I wasn't what I would call brought up in such an unsavoury way. And of course, you do have some Marzlichtuk babies. Does not matter what nationality, okay? That they could have been brought up very nicely, and some of them have been. But what's happened is, if you get involved with, you know, sometimes it's, there we are, the company one keeps. This has gone on for decades, Marzlichtuk babies, just like you'll have ones who are graffiti artists, you know, and somebody else who's never done graffiti before, then they join a little club, a little gang, you know what I mean? Then they learn to do graffiti. Do you see how it works now, Marzlichtuk babies? Yes, okay? But the fact of the matter is this Marzlichtuk babies, another thing that I do. And of course, please and thank you cost nothing. You know, if you're going through a door and somebody's right behind you, will you hold the door open for them? It's called common courtesy. Manners, please, thank you. Yes, please. No, thank you. Now, some would say, you know, because I've heard videos many years ago where one said, well, please and thank you was brought in for this reason. But right, that's all irrelevant in my view. And why do I call it irrelevant, Marzlichtuk babies? Well, I'm going to explain this now. The reason why I call this irrelevant is because if somebody has done, there we are, something most kind for myself, and I regard it to be a really beautiful and wonderful thing, somebody could, give an example, like my beautiful dear little friend Kaz, as an example, okay? She made me for the fake crimbo, bless, okay, because my beautiful dear little friends, they all know that I do not celebrate the fake crimbo, okay? Everybody knows this with myself, okay? But she made me a beautiful rum cake, proper rum cake, okay, Marzlichtuk babies, okay? And let me tell you, if you ever tasted our lovely dear little Kaz's rum cake, let me tell you, you'd never ever buy a shop-bought one ever again. Okay, Marzlichtuk babies, because she makes it properly and with her quality ingredients, you know, and the top rum. There we are. Do you know what I mean? Marzlichtuk babies. Anyway, so thank you, my beautiful dear little friend Kaz, because all my beautiful dear little small circle. Thank you to you all, my little beautifuls. How I love you so, okay? They're so beautiful to me. It's honestly, it's no joke. They're just so beautiful. There we are. And I feel truly blessed. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Well, what do I say? I say, thank you so very much, my beautiful dear little friend Kaz. I give her a hug and a kiss on the cheek, you know what I mean? Because I'm very thankful for that. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, okay? Like, if somebody, you know, brings me, could be anything, you know, like my beautiful dear little Syrian family who very sadly moved out, Marzlichtuk babies. I'm so very happy for them, but I do miss, you know, not seeing them. Do you know what I mean? But we will be in touch soon because I have been invited to go and see them, you know, at their new home. They sent me beautiful cards, and the other beautiful beautiful little Syrian family with the little babies, bless you know. I received 2 beautiful cards over the fake crimbo season, and they took the time to write everything down. It was just so beautiful. And how wonderful is that? So therefore, I'm using that word. I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful for that. So that's what I mean by the words please and thank you. Like, say, okay, let me give another example. I could be in a shop, and this has happened to me many times, okay, over the decades. And for some reason, they always seem to put the fresh juice on the most highest shelf. And of course, I am 5'3" and a bit. Well, a bit's very important, Marzlichtuk babies. That's what I always say. Okay, Marzlichtuk babies anyway. So if I've seen a couple walk past or something, so she's usually a bit taller than myself, okay, Marzlichtuk babies, and then her husband's probably, you know, a lot taller. So I say, please, thank you, please and thank you. Could you please be able to reach me one or two of those juices? It could be orange, could be pineapple. Okay, Little babies. And they say, yes, of course we can. You know what I mean? They do that for you. So what did I do then? I use the word please and I use the word thank you. And usually I say, thank you so very much. Thank you to your heart. And I usually bless them. I say, may you be blessed in your lifetime for what you've just done for me. That is how I am. There we are to others. Little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, okay. With my beautiful, dear little friends I will always give them so many hugs and kisses on the cheek, all the time. Because I love my beautiful, dear little friends to my heart. Do you see what I mean, little babies, okay? And of course, if I see sometimes, like my beautiful, dear little elderly neighbour up the road, I've got some more soup actually in the freezer to go and take up to her, bless her beautiful, dear little soul anyway. And so when I see her, when she hasn't got a cold, because if she's got a cold, she says, oh, keep away from me, Carly, I'm flipping full of a cold, bless her, beautiful, dear little soul. But when she doesn't, I'll always give her a hug and everything. Do you know what I mean, Martinish babies? Because that is my nature. So I was brought up with excellent manners. I was brought up never to steal, okay? I was brought up to cook, clean, there we are, iron and wash. Okay, and I was brought up, there we are, to respect others. Now, I'd say 98%, 98, I'll stick at that number. 98%, there we are, I'm very happy to do that. But if I feel that somebody's done something wrong to myself, or I feel that maybe somebody else is not being spoken to or treated in a very nice way, and I happen to be there at the time, and I can clearly see that that is an injustice, okay, then depending on what it is, then I will say, well, there's no need to speak to somebody like that, okay? It is the way that one, there we are, is brought up to be. I've never graffitied anywhere. What do I want to do that for? I've never went and said, okay, I'm going to go and draw on somebody's fence or somebody's walls. I've never done that. So getting to the point that I want to make, it probably sounds like I've gone around the houses. I personally do not feel that I have. What I've done is I've broken it down, there we are, very nicely to explain myself, to get my message across. So another thing I would do, anybody who doesn't want to use good manners or be kind to others, okay, or wants to continuously leave rubbish, well, they would have a one-way plane ticket and they'd be straight out of our country. Oh, yeah. That's another thing I'd do. Because when you listen in the years gone by, probably, I don't know, past 10, 14, there we are, got 14 year, ones seem to be lacking. So you've got some nationalities where they're very courteous, full of manners, full of great respect for others. And you've got others, they'll go, oh, yeah, all right, yeah. What's that word? Yeah. Should be yes, please. I always remember years ago where I used to live mad to little babies, because I'm going to go shortly, okay? Then I want to be over and out, okay? And I always remember, I'm going back years ago now, there used to be a shop down the road from where I used to live. And I used to go in there, and go whether I'm getting milk or something, especially when I used to do the parcels as well, okay? But by then, I'd moved by then anyway. But and who used to own it? Pretty sure, hold on. I think his Papa Bear passed away. So he left the businesses, which were shops, to his son. Okay, I think it was 2. Now, with this particular shop owner, he was only quite young. His dear little wife, she came from Pakistan. She was really lovely, and I will say that she was just so lovely. Okay, they had 3 little babies. I personally could never understand how she could marry that. Okay, my delicious little baby's cat. I mean, he was probably very nice to her, but, as far as I'm concerned, seeing as he was a shopkeeper, he should have had damn much more respect than what he ever did. But of course, for myself, there we are, I used to pull him up. I never had to do it to his dear wife because she would always say please, always say thank you now. A lovely, dear young woman, okay? But for him, he was forever buying these, well, what ones regard as posh cars, okay, my delicious little babies, always buying posh cars, so you'd always see these posh cars, okay, my delicious little babies. But when you went in, I've got a habit, no matter what shop I go into, even if I go into a supermarket and I talk to the cashier, because I always make sure I talk to the cashier, my delicious little babies, none of this face recognition chat, okay? And I always say, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, okay? But your man there would, basically, he would not even blink at you, not even look at you. So I go and pick up what I pick up, whether it's sugar, whether it's milk, whatever it is, okay? And of course, when I was doing my rounds, I used to like what they're called, Mentos, those blue packet called Mentos. I used to like to chew them, like these chewy sweets, like, when I was doing my round, okay, my delicious little babies, okay? So I used to run in and grab a packet, okay? He was a bit like, I'm sorry to have to say this, but it's a bit like an addiction. I only ever did it when I was doing the parcels, okay? Any other time you wouldn't see me eat any sweets or anything, you know what I mean? It's only when I was doing my parcel round. And I say, good morning, and his name, and he'd just ignore me. And it wasn't only me, Margish babies. He used to do it with others, who were, by the way, are loyal customers. So I said the one day, and let me tell you, he never liked my tongue, I said it in his name. I said, I've just said good morning to yourself. I said, why don't you show respect and manners and say good morning back? I said, after all, I am one of your customers, so therefore you should show respect, isn't it? Please and thank you now. He went, well, he said, there's no need to be like that, Carla. He says, good morning. I said, that's all you had to do in the first place, isn't it? Just be polite and courteous, respect. I said, you see all your motors out there? I says, your brum wheels. And I did say this, if he was here now, there we are, he would be done telling you what I said. I said, you see all the wheels and your car there and your house next door? I said, you wouldn't be having none of this if you never had your shops, isn't it? I said, so there, I'm going to rest my case. I said, there's the change. I said, have a nice day. Thank you. And off I went. And let me tell you, from then on, there we are, I swear down on this. From then on, when I went in and he was there, he said, oh, good morning, Carla, or good afternoon, Carla, or good evening, Carla. Yes. So what did I do there? I never just let somebody treat myself like I'm a piece of shit that's just been wiped off the shoe. No. If you wanted my change, have damn manners and respect, isn't it? And that is what more should do, in my view. Don't put up with, and I talk to anybody in the world, wherever you live in the world, don't put up with that shit. Because guess what? I've said to other shops as well. I said, you know what? I said, as good as me, pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change can serve you in your shop, I said, I can always take my business elsewhere. I said, please remember that now then, isn't it? And then, of course, there we are, the attitudes, there we are, will change. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so we need to restore. We need to come back, okay, to this where one respects, there we are, another. Okay, not just certain nationalities, whatever, you know what I mean? Like they don't have to say please, they don't have to say thank you now. They roll their eyes at you, they give you dirty looks. Who the effing hell do they think they are to give us dirty looks? In our country, we are the most accommodating. There we are. I feel that we've flipping been too accommodating, personally, okay? But the fact of the matter is, who are they to give us a dirty look? They've come into our country. We must get this correct now. very nicely. Okay? So they've got no right in rolling the eyeballs at us or looking down on us. If they don't like it, right, however this comes across, let it come across good and clear. Go back to where you come from, isn't it? And don't come into our country and troubling us. You don't even have to do a thing. But if you're giving dirty looks to others, looking down on others, when you're in somebody else's country, we wouldn't, you and I wouldn't go to somebody else's country and treat somebody like that now then. So what gives anybody the right to come over to us and do this? But of course, when you look at different countries, right, you will find, and even if you listen to videos or whatever over years and years and years, you will find this marriage, but you will not hear them say please or thank you. It's like the way that they address one another. It is plain to see and plain to hear. Well, we are England. There we are. So therefore, we command, there we are, yes, we do. We command manners and respect for each and every one of us who were born here, who worked here all our lives, who have lovely, wonderful families. You know, for most, you know, you will get some who, you know, bless them, you know, maybe they were rather estranged. But what's the point that I'm making? Don't look down on us like we're a piece of shit. And if you don't use manners in your own country, well, don't bring your silly damn business here, because we're not liking it. We do not want it. We're not liking it. So that is what I would do, my little babies. I feel nowhere for what I just said. You know what I mean? I have met, which I said before in my videos, I've met younger, believe it or not, they've been in their like 18, 20, 23, 24. And I'll tell you now that, and I am going to be honest here as well, my little babies, very few white. So if I'm stood at the bus stop, I'm waiting to get onto the bus, okay? There's been younger, and guess what? They haven't been white. Okay, my babies, we've got the same colour blood running through our veins. That's not what I'm saying. I'm making a point with what I'm saying. They said, oh, you go first. I said, thank you very much. I said, what a young gentleman you are. Do you see what I mean? So you have got a lot of, do you know what I mean? Okay? Who come from our country, you know, and they're just so lovely. Not in that way, not in that way. They're just so lovely and respectful. And I say, bless you. I say, have a beautiful day. I said, may you be blessed. I said, what a really lovely young gentleman you are. I say, not in that way, not in that way. Start laughing, you know what I mean? And there are the occasional who are foreign, who have come over, and you could clearly see they're foreign, and they've only come over in recent times. And if they need to get onto the bus, okay, and then they've just gone, they haven't spoken to me, they've just gone, I say, thank you very much. It's only when I do that, because that's breaking the ass. That's what you call breaking the ass. It's a figure of speech. I say, thank you very much. And then in their phone, you know, they'll go, thank you. Do you see? But good manners, there we are, have always gone a long way. And I'm a stickler for manners. When my little babies were growing up, okay, my two daughters, not in literal terms I'm talking now, figure of speech, I used to drum it into them. I used to say, this is how I was brought up to be from my family. Okay, on both sides, I mean, Mummy Bear's side and my dear dad's side. Okay, always good manners. So this is what I stand by. And it seems to be lacking, I'm not talking about with everybody, no, I am not, okay? But I'm just saying, there we are, I've noticed changes that I'm not liking. Okay, my little babies, and that's how I'm going to leave my video. Just before I go, I never noticed this, but on my last charger, I don't know, you might not be able to see it. Can you see there, my little babies, what that says? It's got the crown, and then it's got G, M, G for Gertie, M for mother, and it's got a crown. Now remember, Other chargers, they never look like that. What's the GM? Okay, Marge, baby, it's all right. I've just left it in the kitchen. I can throw her out now. Oh, thank you for all your help, little charger that no longer works. Okay, Marge, just the baby's carry. Yeah, it's just I've never seen that before. I spotted it the other day, GM, and it's got the crown above it. So what's GM? I'll repeat that again. Okay, my delicious little baby. So by the way, yeah, I was bought some chockies just to let you know. Okay, I was bought some chockies from one of my beautiful dear little friends, you know, for the fair Crimber, bless. And I thought we've got to start eating them now. So anyway, I shared some from beautiful little Ruby Tuesday. I did put some out for beautiful little Maisie, but she turned her nose up. She wasn't interested, okay? She likes cream. You know, if you pour some cream, she likes that. And little Rubes loves the cream. They both do. But little Rubes had some chocolates, okay? Now, before anyone says you've got beautiful baby, you're not supposed to give them chocolate. Well, I will do what I like. And a few chocolates is not going to hurt. A bit of chocolate is not going to hurt. And little Rubes actually also likes, very rare I ever buy it, actually, drinking chocolate. The Bourneville is the best one, actually. Very hard to get hold of, that one. It's like a dark chocolate, it's proper cocoa, and you add the sugar in. Yeah, anyway, you do it in a certain way, and the milk and everything, okay? But little Rubes, yeah, she loves drinking chocolate and everything, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, she has a cup of tea every day. And I mean a proper cup, my delicious babies. She has a cup of tea every day. Okay, so she'll have a bread, like she's just had sausages, cheese, an onion omelette, and she's just had a slice of a buttered toast. And then what she then does is go to a cup of tea. You need to see it, my delicious babies. She then goes to a cup of tea and washes it down with a cup of Rosalie. It's so funny. She just does, like, you know, what we do. That doesn't mean no, my delicious baby. She just does what we do. Do you know what I mean? Okay, it's just that I just think, oh, you know, I cannot just let her, you know what I mean? I saved some little sausages. Oh, my beautiful little Maisie Moo, I cut it all up really, really small. So she's had half of them. Little Rubes had the other half. And then I've saved some for later for them both. And then a couple of little sausages for my little foxes as well. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I like to share. And my little birdies, they've got everything. They've got the seeds, mealworms, you know, what they want us to eat. You know, they have been crushing them up in flour and different things now, you know, long times. And peanuts, bread and butter. The bread and butter just flies out usually, my delicious babies. Okay, they all come for the bread and butter, you know what I mean? The crows, the magpies, the little pigeons, you know, and all little birdies, you know, they all come for their share. Okay, my delicious little babies, do you follow me? And yeah, then there's apple and banana there if you all follow me. Okay, everybody gets their share. There we are. Yes. Anyway, so wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies, sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. Please remember the eagle. Okay, my delicious little babies. So until my next video, you just please look after now. I'm not sure how long my video takes to upload, my delicious little babies. I'm pretty sure it's going to take hours upon hours upon hours, because the more videos I send out that peas off YouTube, you know, then it takes longer and longer, you know, just a little bit longer. Then just a little bit longer, you know what I mean? Because they're probably saying to themselves, you know, this you woman there's clearly not learning. No, I am learning. I've learned. There we are, fully well for decades, my delicious babies. It's just that I'm sick and tired to the back teeth. Old-fashioned saying, my delicious little babies, of the shart show, there we are, that I'm watching. That's what I'm completely paid off with. Okay, my delicious babies, but the worst things now to myself, and always will be, is dirty little effing paedophiles. That no country, not ours, not any other country, should ever have in any country. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, what these try and do, and the little lackeys, they're trying to, you know, to make this, what did they call them? What is it they called them, my delicious little babies? Minor attracted persons. F off nicely with that. And they can get on the effing back and pedal fast. What they're trying to do is normalise dirty, filthy business. There we are. That's what they're trying to do. Okay, my delicious babies, so we all say no. Okay? And that's what I say. But of course, if I was to run the country, that doesn't mean no. If I was to run the country, martylish babies, of course, which I never will, you know what I mean? Okay, I've got to remember the sockets as well, martylish babies as well as the batteries. Well, there's other things that I would rearrange. There we are. You know what I mean? Martylish babies, okay? And I would also make it equal so that everybody's equal. If we want a happier place, happier countries for us to live and thrive and strive, well, at the end of the day, I would do things there we are very differently, okay? And I would not I would work off other things where one hand, that's what they call it, old fashioned Jamaican saying, one hand rub the other. Do you understand what I mean? Yes, okay, so one can help another. So, say for example, you could have somebody who makes sockets, you could have others who make wires, you could have others who do carpentry, you know what I mean? Then they could talk to somebody else who's a plumber or something like that. Then they just do an exchange that way, okay? So where you hear ones in the world where they talk about, oh, bartering stuff, I don't want to hear that shout. I don't want to hear that shout. The only reason why these usually say that, and they've got much larger platforms, okay? Not usually ones who are mentioned, okay? But I've heard of this. The only reason why they say that now, then, isn't it? So they can keep the ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, okay. So I don't want to hear that shite. And very lastly, on our lovely UK column, Germ, not in that way, is talking to somebody called Bart. I remember, was it a few years ago when I mentioned Bart? Okay, no, it's not Bart Simpson, Martin Schlick Babies, mind you. They were done telling everybody with Bart Simpson's little cartoons, weren't they, Martin Schlick Babies? Anyway, no, this is all to do with the moon. Okay, Martin Schlick Babies, and yeah. So that's worth a listen to. But I remember mentioning this a few years ago, and I remember listening to his original video years ago on BitChute. Okay, Martin Schlick Babies. So it has taken a while to come onto YouTube, it seems, you know what I mean? Because to be honest with you, after I've seen it on BitChute, I never really looked on YouTube again because I never needed to. I'd already heard it first time round. But what this is, just cut a long story short, what he's talking about is the fact that for decades he believed, that man went to the moon, okay? Then he had a rude awakening and found out that this was not the case at all, Martin Little Babies, okay? So, yeah, it's very interesting to take a little listen to, okay, Martin Little Babies, yeah. So that's all I have to say. So peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. Please look after now, and please try to look after others, because we are in a bonkers, crackers, and crazy world. Okay, my delicious little babies, what we're on now, 47, 43. Love ya. Thank you for listening. Thank you for any likes. Goodbye.